Good evening everyone, Merch Hunter Ricky back, and we are doing devil fruits again. Today we're going to start off with probably the longest segment of the video. It's going to be the Ape Fruit Model Gorilla. Now first I had to do a lot of research on this one, so like I say with all my devil fruit research videos, when I do the research I become brain dead afterwards, so my facts might get a little jumbled, but for the most part I plan to stay completely on track for once. Alright, so the Ape Fruit Model Gorilla, we're just going to call it the Gorilla Fruit for now, because these fruits are really a mouthful. No pun intended. But the Gorilla Fruit, off the jump, I want to say is actually one of the more complex fruits I've come up with, despite having a very simple idea, which is, you turn into a gorilla. You are now a gorilla person, right? You're a zone type user. You have your three forms: human, hybrid, and full gorilla mode. Here's the thing. Humans and gorillas and the great ape family and the monkey family all share a very weirdly close, like 95% close DNA pool, which on top of that, the gorilla, like the intelligence of a gorilla is astounding, right? They can understand communication. They can use their own language sometimes. They can learn our sign language. They can push our own language button devices and communicate with a human in English using those devices. And furthermore, they can use like simple tools and stuff. So this devil fruit actually comes with a bit of a caveat. See, when you are in hybrid form, I feel like you would actually get smarter, because you wouldn't just go into like, I'm gonna bash him, thrash him gorilla style mode. No, I actually think you would actually like unlock an animal instinct, not like Rob Lucci and his like carnivorous killer instinct, but more so like almost not so like a pack mentality, but something along those lines, where you would feel like you're more than just human, and not just because you ate the gorilla fruit, but because the gorillas and the humans share such a close DNA that you'd almost, like how Zoro does like the one gorilla, two gorilla, and like his muscles bulge super hard, like obviously you get that strength increase. A gorilla can lift up to like something like 2,000 pounds or like 1,800 pounds. Like when you Google how much stronger is a gorilla than a human, you're gonna get probably what I got, which was like 6 or 7 different articles that are more or less telling you the same thing, which is that gorillas can, like the most heavy recorded gorilla lift in history was something around 1,800 pounds. They can lift up, they can personally weigh up to 600 pounds if they're kept in captivity, but in the wild they'll be to like a lean 400, 500 pounds. So that boost in hybrid form, I feel like that's where you're really gonna shine, because even in like Zoan type users, we don't really see them lean on their animal form, which honestly, kind of a hot take, but I feel like the animal form, the full animal form of a Zoan fruit is almost rendered useless unless you're like Pell and you can fly, but that's neither here nor there really, because I mean, if you can still turn into a gorilla, you're still going to be like much further ahead of the game in a fight than most people, especially if like you're doing a One Piece DND campaign. You're not going to be threatened by many humans or marines or other pirates, you're going to be more so like a mink or a fish man, just like, all right, well, I'm going to flip your ship upside down with one finger, but like I said before, the gorilla fruit would offer something in hybrid form that I feel like the other fruits just wouldn't. You'd have that like almost a boost in intuition in your brain capacity, and then on top of like the boosted strength, I feel like you would have like a way higher endurance and stamina pool. Now I could be wrong, but that's just what I feel. I feel like honestly, like your stamina in general would be like out of this world, and your ability to think on the spot would be impacted because animals are very instinctual. And I feel like what you would start doing as a hybrid mode gorilla fruit user would, you'd not only think on the spot, but let's apply this with hockey, right? If you're using different forms of conqueror's hockey or just armament and observation in general, and on top of already having a double boost in strength to what a normal human will come with, you will be an absolute monster force to be reckoned with. The only other like fruit that hasn't been introduced in the series that I think would be as awesome as the devil fruit of this gorilla fruit would be like a lion fruit, you know? And I feel like that's probably been touched upon by many YouTubers, so I probably won't do that one for a while unless you really want me to. If you have any other ideas for how you could implement this gorilla fruit, because, you know, Zoans are, you know, they're Zoans, right? They offer one variety, and once you're in that variety, you stick to what that variety does. In this case, you are of the ape family. You know, you have that crazy arm strength. I'm not too sure about the leg strength of gorillas, but they don't look like they skip leg day, you know? But realistically, nobody's beating you in an arm wrestling contest, let alone a fist fight, right? Especially in the hybrid form. In the hybrid form, I feel like, let's say you're a CP0 member, CP9 member, whatever, and you're using the Rokushiki, the 6 powers, and you're doing something like a finger pistol, right? Like, think back to Whole Cake Island. Stussy used the flying finger pistol, and it just like went very far. But put that in the arsenal of a gorilla fruit user, and they do like, like a finger cannon, finger bazooka, finger rifle, like how, if you're not caught up, I'm sorry, but spoilers, Rob Lucci unleashed like the hand pistol or whatever, and that was very cool. That I like that innovation because it's like all 5 fingers doing the finger pistol, or even crazier, like the whole hand itself taking that energy, kind of like Fukuro, the zipper guy, Chapapa. He does the finger pistol with something else and calls it a solid beast, right? If you're using finger pistol as the gorilla user, I really feel like just even without claws, right? You're going to be messing fools up left and right, because I really do feel like you could like flick air and make it like a finger cannon, finger bazooka, finger rifle, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like you'd literally be taking bricks off a brick wall with that thing, and that just is phenomenal, and I really like that idea. Now, maybe you might get some weird instincts, you'd want fruit more than your average person, but I really feel like that's not a big drawback. Maybe you might get tired in the fruit form faster because being a gorilla takes a lot of calories and, things of that nature. Just like if you were to be a bear fruit user, right? That's a good idea. We'll do bear soon, okay? Hold me to that. But, bears eat a crap load before they go into hibernation, like 2,000 calories a day almost, pre-hibernation. I don't find it hard to believe that a gorilla would consume something along the lines of like 700 to 1,000 calories, if not more, like 700 more calories than the average human diet, right? Because they are massive creatures, and they do things like eat entire mangoes at once, or eat a whole thing of bananas at the same time. And I'm not going to stop a gorilla fruit user, let's just say that right now. Like, if you come up to me in a fight and you're like, come with me or you're gonna die, and I'm like, what are you gonna do about it? And you shift into a were-gorilla type person, I am listening to you. Like, that is a done deal, no thank you, because the minute you show up with the 1 gorilla, 2 gorilla, like that's a done deal. But for the most part, I think this simple fruit is not necessarily cut and dry, but basically it is. You shift into gorilla mode, you might get that boost in brain capacity to where you think a little bit differently about communicating and stuff like that. However, you might also get like a pride boost, like that might be one downfall, is like you might feel like you need to be the alpha gorilla, like the silverback, and you want to beat your chest and stuff like that. But for the most part, I really like this fruit simply for the application of finger pistol. If you were to just flick and just turn it into finger cannon, that I feel like just that application alone is mind-blowing. Let alone, I mean, come on, like we have Luffy doing the King Kong gun, but okay, now you're the gorilla user. I'm gonna show you a real King Kong gun, especially if you were to be an armament hockey master, or even crazier. Because to me, I always thought that gorillas are really quick to notice things in the zoo. Like a kid starts going off the walls, the gorilla's like already looking at them, I feel like a gorilla with observation hockey, like you're not getting past that mofo. Like you're not getting anywhere near that gorilla. And unless the gorilla fruit user is like Usopp or something, and just a total coward. But for the most part, that's been the gorilla fruit. And honestly, I really like that idea. It's probably one of my favorite Zoan types to not be in the series. So let's move on to the next ones. Okay, so I did forget to mention the awakening for the gorilla fruit, and I want to do two things. One, it's the reason why there is an Ozaru from Dragon Ball Z in the thumbnail. So let's say you have an awakening somewhat of the type of the Impel Down users. I feel like as the gorilla fruit, you might be a little bit more susceptible to the gorilla taking over because it's so similar to human DNA and whatnot. You might be able to actually choose and switch between the gorilla taking over or you getting the awakening, the true awakening with the the ribbon or whatever. And how cool would that be? Just picture the hybrid form gorilla user with the ribbon and the flames. That's just that would be cool because the gorilla has so much fur. Would you get like the flame mohawk like Lucci did, or would you get like the flame hairdo like Luffy? Either way sounds awesome. But here's what I think the awakening for the gorilla fruit user, if you were Impel Down style gorilla fruit user, would happen. One, you'd be like a full body gorilla, right? And massive one at that. And you'd kind of look doofy, of course. That's what happened in Impel Down. But I feel like the ridiculous raw strength potential might make you able to like sumo wrestle a Little Oars Jr. or something like that. You're just slapping marine ships left and right at the coastline of whatever island you're at. You're picking up 20 full pirate crews and throwing them. You're literally an Ozaru from Dragon Ball Z, and that is highly appealing. Although it's an ape, it's an actual ape fruit, so you don't have a tail, so that part does not matter, which makes you even better. But way number two, the true awakening with the gorilla fruit, I can see you almost a Wukong style, but I think Wukong actually is a monkey and not an ape. So you'd be something even crazier. You might be like Gorilla Zod, but you wouldn't look like a full gorilla like Zod. You would just be, or sorry, not Gorilla Zod, Gorilla Grodd. Yeah, Gorilla Grodd. Sorry about that. Don't come for me. I corrected myself. But imagine with the awakening and the knowing the full body potential, like you would be like palm blasting Rokushiki techniques like left and right. The Tekai you would be able to unleash on someone would be like armament hockey plus Tekai would just make you a steel wall almost. And the observation hockey with the increased brain capacity, since you are so close already to human DNA, but you're a gorilla, an awakened one at that, I feel like you would just be like, not like Buddha-like, but you would be very, very clear-minded. Unless you do have a falling, like a succumb to pride. That's the only weakness I could really see, other than, like bullets when you're not using hockey. And that's the awakening path for the gorilla fruit. So if you hear a baby like going in the background, that's just my newborn. She's kind of crazy right now, and it's really funny. It's really hard to keep a straight face, but let's keep going. So this next fruit is inspired by fortune teller Baba from Dragon Ball Z, and she has a very unique power of using that crystal ball and glimpsing like images that she wants to happen. Sometimes she has the premonitions that they showed, like she said she knew Goku would be a great hero, but for the most part people just use her to find lost objects. It's pretty funny. But that's kind of where I want to go with this, because we have Viola in Dressrosa with the glare fruit, but her fruit is all sorts of broken and honestly kind of ill thought out in my opinion. And moreover, like, what is that cry power? Like, what is that? You can cry whales? What? The saying is cry me a river. I've never heard cry me a whale. So if you're Japanese watching this video and you guys have a saying about crying whales, let me know please. But anyways, the glimpse fruit. So the first power off the jump, I feel like you would be able to summon a crystal ball, right? And from that crystal ball, you can do many different object applications, but the main one being you can have the vestige of the image that you want appear. And I feel like having that ability is absolutely crazy, because let's say, let's put it this way, you're in the world government seeks you out for using the glimpse fruit. They're like, we need to locate this pirate crew, we need to locate them now. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, boom, they're over here on the west blue side towards the Grand Line, but they haven't approached the Grand Line yet. Next thing you know, they hit up their closest naval base to there and they capture those pirates. Glimpse fruit. Let's say people come up to you like fortune teller Baba had them and, pay me 1,000,000,000 zenny, or in this case 1,000,000,000 berry, and yeah, I'll find a lost object for you. I mean, let's be real, right? The Glimpse fruit, with the ability to locate objects that even she has not laid eyes on, could probably find the 4th road poneglyph or the straight up One Piece itself. And maybe that's why there hasn't been like a crystal ball user not since Madame Charlet. You think I would forget about her, but that's like one of my favorite characters in One Piece, so wham. But what I like about this Glimpse fruit is because instead of using it for attacks and stuff like that, you wouldn't need to, because you'd be the ultimate support ally. Like, hey, look, I'm gonna glimpse up to see if anyone is going to contest us to this next island. Oh crap, Blackbeard's there waiting for us. Let's leave before he even gets a chance to find us. Or, let's go to Wano. Oh crap, never mind, there is a large dragon man ruling the country. Let's go there another day. Or, hey, I'm a lost mink. Can you help me find my home? I don't have a Vivre card. Okay, well, it looks like your gigantic freaking island elephant is walking in the South Blue right now. So there you go. See you later. Deeper applications of this fruit, you might be able to sync it with your observation hockey. So, hey, I'm sensing someone 600 feet that way. Glimpse power, activate, and bam! You see a rival pirate crew coming to get you. Problem solved. They're not gonna get you because you're way too many steps ahead. Now, for this one I want to mention an awakening, because I think awakening type 1 would be very cool. You glimpse the future a la without future sight. And I really like that, because without needing future sight, imagine what happens when you awaken it and you actually did have future sight. Then you could probably like fine tune it almost like an old school TV and find the exact future you're looking for. Also, if you can use the glimpse crystal ball as a conduit to improve your observation hockey, kind of like how Enel did with his fruit, right? You would be able to actually see what Enel was just hearing, right? And that would make you all the more stronger. You might be able to even combat someone on the level of an Enel, just depending on how strong you are as an individual. Because I mean, like, let's say Nami had this fruit. That's a done deal, because she's highly intelligent and she knows how to predict weather patterns. So she might be able to just like accidentally, or not accidentally, guide you on an accidental course to steer your pirate ship into a storm she just avoided. Things like that. Also, another type of awakening you could use is just kind of like shifting reality towards what someone else sees. Like, you can make up a vision that's not gonna come true at all, but someone's looking at your crystal ball, you use your awakening to show a fake future. That might be actually more of like a basic application of the fruit. Maybe you can use that when you're a little bit better at knowing how the fruit works. But I feel like because awakenings happen when your hockey matches your mind, or whatever Kaido said, I think it was that, hockey matching your mind, you are able, especially like I said with observation hockey, this fruit is going to be uncontestable. You're going to be making money on every island you go to. The world government most likely will not let you live a peaceful One Piece lifestyle, but hey, maybe you might be able to pull some fortune teller Baba stuff and just ride the crystal ball away. Another thing that I would like to present with this fruit is the ability to not necessarily, I wouldn't say, like, I kind of sound redundant here, but like foresee an outcome that had many chances of many different outcomes. You could see the best one possible. And this isn't necessarily like future sight, and it's not necessarily like something you would need observation hockey to use, but just like, oh, crystal ball, would you please tell me the outcome if I were to join the Straw Hat Pirates, if I were to join the Kid Pirates, or if I were to join the Beast Pirates, the Animal Kingdom Pirates, Can you please foresee the outcome of the end of Marineford? I would like to tell Luffy what he's getting himself into. I just think that fruit alone on its own holds such awesome weight and potential, because it definitely distinguishes itself from Viola, because Viola can just look into people's minds, sure, and she can look in like a radius like around her, like I think it was crazy ridiculous, like 2 miles or something. But and this one all stems from your crystal ball. Maybe your crystal ball is linked to your energy, and if you get beat up, or if that crystal ball breaks, you lose a lot of energy, you might pass out, you might feel pain linked to it. Things like, you know, the crystal ball user connection, I really actually like that a lot. I hadn't wrote that down in my notes before, and I'm glad I just thought of it now, because that actually might be your weakness, right? Like Buggy's weakness is getting kicked in the balls apparently, or just getting punched, just like Luffy's weakness is sharp objects. They're like, you know, those are their devil fruit defined weaknesses outside of the water. For you, as a crystal ball user, you might just be able to avoid all situations where you might get dunked in water. Again, because this fruit lets you see things, the outcome of things, or things that you are looking for all at once. And honestly, I really feel like this fruit might actually be in the more broken territory once you master it. But without mastering it, and without hockey, you would just be a 2-bit fortune teller finding people's wallets when they lost them. And that's kind of why I just love devil fruits in general. There's so many different possibilities and ways, and that's why I do this series, you know? And at the risk of becoming redundant, let's cut this segment and let's go on to the next devil fruit. Okay, and the final fruit of this episode is going to be suggested by a user, Ethan. Shout out to you, Ethan, by the way, because you comment on all the devil fruit videos and you always got something cooking in that brain of yours, and I appreciate your brain. So you suggested the Hito Hito no Mi model Shinigami, and upon my research of the Shinigami, I have to make a small correction to that name because it is a yokai, you know, like an actual Japanese spirit. So let's remove the Hito Hito part for now, and we'll come back to that later. But let's remove it for now and just make it the spirit fruit model Shinigami. And what I want to suggest is maybe this would be a 4th type of devil fruit class, if not, I guess you could say a Zoan type, mythical Zoan type yokai fruit, right? And then mythical Zoan type yokai fruit model Shinigami. That's what I think should be the proper name of this fruit, simply because that's why Ichigo's in the thumbnail, because Bleach has that, but in traditional Japanese lore, it's like more of a spirit entity than like a human with ghost powers like Danny Phantom or Ichigo, you know? But amazing idea, and I like the idea that you said you know you can pull users' souls into different dimensions, like a heaven or hell type dimension. The only thing with that is like, I feel like, you know, you'd have to do like in Naruto, like the Reaper Death Seal, and like slowly pull them out, you know, especially if they're good. I feel like the good souls should have a chance to resist, and then the bad souls would just be eviscerated entirely, depending on the user, of course, because if the user is evil, of course you're going to be taking them good souls and putting them in hell, you know? It's your choice. It's a fantastic idea. And I want to take it a step further and make it so that like one of your powers as the Shinigami, other than, you know, floating through walls and all that ghost, all that spiritual yokai goodness, is you would be able to sense someone's, you know, impending death, right? Maybe not know about a year in advance, but hey, let's say this guy's got a month left to live. Your ass would be sensing them like, okay, I got a soul to reap. I'll be back, guys. Don't wait for me. Some abilities you could use in that is, one, obviously, you know, you're taking the soul, right? And you're moving it to heaven or hell. Another one I would say is you are able to kind of like guide lost souls. If you see a ghost haunting something, if you come across a possessed human, if you see someone using Big Mom's fruit, right, you might be able to do what Brooke did and take those souls and you guide them back to their bodies, or guide them to your pocket dimensions like you mentioned, or guide them to the actual afterlife. Because what I like about your pocket dimensions is that maybe you can just leave them there, you know, to let them, you know, think about what they've done, or let them have a break from life for a little bit. You know, like let's say someone's contemplating committing the big S, you know, suicide, and you take their soul and you put them in the good pocket dimension. You know, they think about it and they're like, okay, I would like to be alive now. And you know, you put them back in their body. Maybe they only have like 20 minutes to go back to their body, you know, so make the decision quick. Or, you know, like I said, with Big Mom, and you're on Whole Cake Island and she's manipulating all these souls, maybe you could start taking them back, putting the years lost taken from people, the months, the days, and giving it back. You would be the ultimate counter to her fruit, more so than Brooke was, right? because I feel like you'd even be able to take her homies and forcefully put them back in her body, or take them and put them in your bad dimension, and they're stuck there. No more Prometheus, no more Hera, no more Napoleon, no more Zeus. But Zeus is a good guy now, so let's leave him alone. But this is a fantastic devil fruit. The only thing where I struggle is the awakening. Would that make you just be able to do it on like a mass form, or would you be able to create like your own zone for where the souls go and you like control what they do? Or if you take a soul and you gain power from it, like it's just that's where I'm struggling. So if you have an awakening path for this fruit, go ahead and put it down below, and I will definitely, I respond to almost all the comments, if not all of them, and I will gladly put this in the next video, like somewhere towards the end, like, hey, let's retouch on that Shinigami fruit. This is a really tough one because, like I said, does the spirit fruit indicate that you're a mythical Zoan type, or would it indicate that you're a Paramecia style, like, ghost person? Because I think Perona had the ghost fruit, has the ghost fruit, and she's a Paramecia user, right? So would that make you a Paramecia? And like Big Mom's fruit also, Soul fruit, and Brooks, I think they're all 3 Paramecia users. But this one turns you into a yokai, right? The Shinigami. So is that Paramecia or is that Zoan? You decide. Tell me in the comments below. But honestly, this is a fantastic fruit. It brings a lot of ideas to question, especially because it's confirmed by Brooke there is an afterlife in One Piece. So that being said, I've been Merch Hunter Ricky. I had a fantastic time doing these. As always, if you have ideas of your own, put them down below. They might not be in the next video, but they will be covered. I do plan on rolling these videos out more often. It's just I needed a little bit of a break from them because I was starting to stick to the same formula in each video, and I want to start trying to make these videos a little bit more in depth, like start discussing what the powers of the devil fruit are, not just the lifestyle you would live, as I was kind of falling into that habit of just discussing the lifestyle and not talking about the powers and awakenings. And I want to, I always want to put what the devil fruits in One Piece do at the forefront, which is they have powers, they have awakenings, and then yes, they do affect the user's lifestyle. But I only was talking about the lifestyle, so I admit I was kind of boring for that. And thank you for watching still, and I really appreciate you all, and have a great night.